We can start. Ruzdena, shall we?
Sure. Yes, please proceed.
Okay. And so, warmest welcome from Istanbul to all. Good afternoon for us. Good morning for us, and good afternoon for all. I'm very happy to also have you at this program. I would like to welcome you to all today's panel at Startup Investment Summit Türkiye. This is the first time to organize Startup Investment Summit Türkiye, and we will kick the program with Malaysia session. That's a great pleasure for us to have all you here from Türkiye, from Malaysia and other institutions. Before I start, I would like to thank Ms. Ruzlana, Director of Malaysia Digital Economic Corporation, for accepting our invitation for showcasing the Malaysian fintech sector at this event, as well as special thanks to Şerafettin Özsoy and Ahmet Sefa, organizer of this event, for their valuable initiative for organizing this organization and inviting me as a moderator for today's panels. The event is set to introduce the Turkish entrepreneurial ecosystem to the global arena, and plenty of webinars focus on investments in startups and foreign investors about the Turkish entrepreneurial ecosystem. Furthermore, the concept of the 4-day event is designed to take the ecosystem of one of the special countries to the stage during the half-day program to be introduced to both local and international stakeholders. In this regard, with great pleasure, today we will welcome Malaysia as the focus country of this event because of its good practices and flourishing fintech ecosystem structure and the startup landscape. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome again esteemed speakers and representatives of Malaysian institutions who will deliver their presentation and speeches today. As all of you are aware, after COVID-19, human behaviors and tendencies regarding consumption, needs, and priorities have been changed in every sector, including Islamic finance, and people started to look for alternative ways and tools to access finance for their financial needs. With this change, fintech became one of the preferable and efficient way to provide sustainable and financial solutions for the financial needs of different segments of society. In this point, in today's world, Islamic financial technologies are becoming more crucial than ever before, specifically in catering to the financial needs of startups and fintechs. In this regard, Malaysia, with its potential advantage via its strong regulatory environment, comprehensive fintech landscape, and government's remarkable support to the sector, put forward its leading role within the ecosystem. In this panel today, 4 Malaysian leading fintech will introduce themselves and share their experience within the ecosystem. Without further delay, I'm glad to welcome all the speakers to the session and wish all a very good session and insightful discussions today. I would like to give a very brief note over the today's sessions. We will have 2 sessions within Malaysian capacity for fintech and 2.5 hours in total. During first panel, after the introductory session for the MDEC member fintechs, we will have a 30 minutes break. Then we will have a roundtable discussions session with the representatives from Malaysia. Each speaker will have around 12 or 15 minutes for the speeches and presentation. And now we can kick the program, kick the summits with the special thanks and warmest welcome to Ms. Nadia Ismadi, who is co-founder and CEO of Pod Startup. Ms. Nadia has immense experience at Islamic fintech industry. So Nadia, floor is yours. We would like to listen from you, your experience, your journey as a successful Islamic fintech experience. Floor is yours. You can share your presentation or how you wish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatma. Everybody can hear me well, yes? Let me bring out my screen to just guide the conversation on our learnings building Sharia financial products for a specific segment, which my team and I are very passionate about, which is the gig worker segment. Let me just share my screen. Is it coming out? Can you all see my presentation?
Almost.
Yes, now we can.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to try and move the slides because I've
Full
given a
secret.
presentation before
Yeah.
where it was stuck for 15 minutes. Is it
Okay.
moving?
Yes, we can. It's moving. It's moving.
That's great.
Nadia.
Thank you. So as mentioned earlier, I'm Nadia, the co-founder of Pod. Basically, what Pod is, we are a financial well-being platform focusing on the underserved segment in Southeast Asia, particularly the gig workers. So the type of profiles that we service are the likes of self-employed individuals. In Malaysia, we have the bottom 40 of the population segment, which earns significantly less compared to the majority of the population. And these are blue-collar gig workers or self-employed business owners. And with the rise of digital economy, you also see the type of persona or profiles of individuals that chose to be self-employed, basically facilitating products and services deliverables online and on digital platforms. If you compare and contrast this individual persona, they all look very different as individuals, but actually they all have similar problems. So what we've identified in Malaysia and also the greater Southeast Asia is that the majority of the problems that the gig worker face are with regards to financial products are these three main ones. So the fact that they don't have steady income, making the fluctuations of their earnings a bit difficult for financial planning. But at the same time, because their income also fluctuates, they don't have readily available products that they can access from financial institutions, particularly credit, because the credit scorecard that the current financial institutions look at does not suit this user segment. And they are just so busy putting food on the table for their family. And at the same time, due to the lack of access of financial products, they might not be in the capacity to make the right decision at the right time with regards to access to financial products. So this is our vision for this segment. We started in 2019 with just very basic or simple proposition of micro savings. So our vision and aim is trying to get them to be basic savers first. And then from 2019 to date, we see that there's growth in terms of needs and wants that they have with regards to financial products. Then we started building our own and also collaborate with existing financial institutions to supplement and provide some of these financial products. All in all, the overall vision is so that when they access the platform, go through the journey, they eventually would be financially resilient. So this is what the current platform looks like. Basically, if any of you have access to the App Store or Play Store in Malaysia, you can download the Pod Savings app and experiment with some of the features and functionalities that we have. They can come in, set multiple different goals, track their saving progress, more importantly, and see prioritize and deprioritize accordingly. We also facilitate different ways they can save. I think one of the highlights, something that we're very proud of and continue to kind of put effort in, is to enable the savings to be done directly from the job platform that they're with. So for example, if they are with Shopee Food or Food Panda, we want them to be able to access the savings directly from the app, as well as do deductions on their earnings, so that the savings is automatic. So they don't have to think about saving. And we also provide multiple different rewards at different milestones just to keep them going to achieve their goals. I would like to also share some of the insights from our current user base and, what are they aspiring towards, how well they've been saving over time. So majority of our users post-pandemic has a bit less hedonistic saving goals. So pre-pandemic, I would say most popular saving goals were travel and gadget. As you can see, that get deprioritized significantly post-pandemic. So now everyone is prioritizing for long-term sustainability and financial resilience. So they focus a lot more on building emergency funds, creating savings fund for future health need, as well as retirement plan. We also have a significant amount of people that are actually saving to fund their own business so that they would be able to grow more in terms of their earning capacity within the gig sector. And you also have all the other purchases of asset, children education fund, etc., as part of the goals as well. This insight is very important so that we can also understand the capacity and tenure of their savings. So we can see how long are they going to take to save towards, let's say, retirement or emergency saving or even purchase of assets. And then that way we can also add more products that will help them to achieve these goals faster. We're also very proud to share this data with you that is supported by United Nations Capital Development Fund, where they actually did a study to see whether or not the savers within the gig segment who benefited from the platform is significantly better off because of the savings product. So they did this study with a few of the gig platform partners that we work with, and they saw that overall our users are more confident in dealing with financial emergency and crises compared to non-savers or non-pod users. And those within the pod user category, people who save very often or often, which is defined as at least once a week or once every fortnightly, has better confidence in terms of their capacity to deal with emergency. I mean, rightfully so and logically. And this insight we translated into a different product feature, which I will share in a bit. During pandemic, we also started not just studying the savings trend, but we also start studying withdrawal trends. So as they save, then they withdraw. We see why exactly are they withdrawing, how frequent do they withdraw from the savings that they've done. We realized that actually a lot of them are saving to bridge between paychecks or saving to fund emergency expenses. So that's when we decided to enable them to have access to short-term and very small amount financing product. So we've launched a Sharia microfinancing feature during pandemic to enable them to bridge between the paychecks and not having to borrow from illegal sources, which charges them typically arms and legs for short-term and small amount loans. So it's a very simple process. Anyone who has been whitelisted, they could see the function on the app and click it, and they can fill a chat-like application form, select the amount they wanted to borrow, the tenure, and we just charge one upfront processing fee, which varies based on their credit score. So it's non-compounding interest product. We didn't realize what sort of problem we're trying to unmask by trying to offer them microfinancing product. These individuals don't have existing credit bureau trail. So we have to build our own credit scoring model. And this, one of the core function of POD at the moment is gathering data sources to make up the credit scoring for this underserved segment by combining different data pillars. One of the ones that I would like to highlight here is the savings traction as well as positive money habit that we incorporated as part of the score as well, on top of all the other normal data points that you typically have for credit score, which is earning capabilities and transactional data. The way that we ourselves as a small unit of fintech company to hedge against default for these individual borrowers, I would like to highlight 2 points here. Number one is the fact that we started with saving gave us a bit of an advantage where we can filter and assign a higher credit score to savers compared to non-savers. And the second portion here that is quite unique where against your typical credit bureau data is that we also weave financial literacy and know-how inside the credit score as well as part of the debt rehabilitation sequence. So if let's say today someone wants to borrow $1,000, but they are only credible to borrow, let's say 700 in order for them to increase and unlock the additional amount, then we will teach them to improve their score, which also includes financial literacy component. On top of that, we also work with our financial institution partners as well as other gig platforms that we currently work with to distribute the products, also to create various savings campaign and financial literacy programs that will also encourage them to understand a bit more rather than just consuming product on the platform. This is also one of my favorite feature as an insight that comes out from the UNCDF study that we did. We realized that by having a more frequent savings opportunity, the users would be more confident in terms of breezing through financial expenses, right? So through that insight, we decided that the friction to get to the product is usually to get them to download the app, start registering. So what we've done is unbundling of the features that we've built on the app as APIs that can integrate rather seamlessly into third-party platforms that allows these gig workers, let's say they go on the Rider app to book jobs and track their earnings. That's the same platform they can use to also access savings as well as microfinancing products. So the friction is lowered and we do see better stickiness from this kind of integration, which my team and I are focusing a lot more now on distributing the products through third-party platforms. Just to share with you some of the gig platform partners that we work with, as well as financial institutions. We can't manufacture everything under the sun that the gig workers need. So we have to work closely with existing financial institutions who are good at product creation, but may not necessarily have identified channels of distribution that can reach this gig worker segment. So we act as a distribution arm, as well as product partner collaborator to create products that will suit them as they grow on the platform. I would like to also share some stats for those of you from financial institutions who love statistics from consultants. So why we believe now is the best time for POD to exist is because World Bank is predicting that the segment of the gig worker is growing in terms of workforce contribution. Majority of the workforce within Southeast Asia particularly are going to be within this segment. So we have to be prepared to create products and also offerings that will be better service to them. And with that, they are also widening credit gap and savings gap that exists in the market because these segments are currently not or underserved or underbanked. So this amount, I think, is quite important, where 110 billion is not currently within any financial institution. So if we could figure out a way to sweep this into, let's say, pension funds or asset management, then this amount would significantly benefit the gig worker segment as well as the financial institution overall. Just to also give insights as to how we work with financial institution partners, we'll start from the furthest my right, whereby the simplest way that financial institution work with us is by funding the loan book funds that we distribute to the gig workers. But we also move in adjacent to the different type of collaborations that would service the FI's need as well, where one of the ones that are quite important for us at this moment is to enable the financial institutions to access POD score as the user borrows from us, so that they can layer that on top of their current scorecard to service the gig worker segment. We're also in touch with some of the financial institutions who are currently investing into creating their own microfinancing unit. So then they use our credit scoring model as an engine to evaluate the creditworthiness of the borrower, and also maybe perhaps piecemeal some of the digital components of user onboarding and assessment as well. But the skin or the front of the product is the banks or the FIs themselves. And last but not least, we can also work together with the team to figure out maybe bespoke financial solutions that would be better service their existing customer base and the needs of the new customer base that they're looking to service as well. Prior to POD, I was actually with a fund manager, a Japanese fund management company, Nomura. My co-founder Ying, she had several career stints in consulting. The two of us are non-technical founders, so all those cool stuff that I've showed you earlier actually belongs to our developers and data scientist team. The two of us were just merely sharing their story in terms of product build. We have data scientists as well as lead developer, Pewarisan, OIS, as well as a team beyond under them that helps to build the credit scoring model, as well as the API integrations, the applications, etc. That I just shared with you earlier. We also work very closely with our Sharia advisor, Mashrif, to make sure the end-to-end of the product is Sharia compliant. And last but not least, I think we're also very fortunate that we are backed by investors within the financial institution and fintech space here in Malaysia and Indonesia that understands the landscape as well as best practices with regards to building a sustainable financial institution. And also our seed round earlier is backed by the Government Fund of Malaysia, Penjana Capital, alongside a Silicon Valley-based VC, The Hive. Last slide, I promise. So if any of you would like to understand a bit more, this is my contact, so feel free to reach out or ask the question after. Thank you so much.
Nadia, thank you very much. Ahmet, thank you for your important sharing. I should also highlight that when we look at the new digital banks in Turkey and around the world, they are mainly focusing on having value proposition on customer satisfaction and delivering much more non-financial values for their customers. So this financial management tool really very critical as a value proposition for the banks, for their customers. It's really very interesting. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite stage Ms. Nuraizah Shamsul Baharin, who is founder of Madcash&Managing Director at Madcat World. Ms. Nuraizah is a multi-award winning technopreneur and serial entrepreneur. Her background is coming from electrical engineering and worked in engineering and R&D at the beginning of her career. She started her first career and her first company in 2016 and now runs Madcat World, a software development house and a fintech that funds women entrepreneurship. I am personally very, excited to listen more about this women entrepreneurship funding tool. So floor is yours, Nuraizah. Warmest welcome.
Thank you, Fatma. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, good morning, I think. Yeah. So my name is Aiza. I'm from Madcash, and we drive financial inclusivity through micro funding and analytics. So our goal is to impact 1 million lives by 2025. So here are some of the people that we help. So this is one lady. She is a farmer who lives in Sabah. So when we met her in August 2020, she had this problem of Malaysia going into lockdown because of the pandemic, and she couldn't sell her fresh herbs. So with a funding of USD 240, we help her turn the product from fresh herbs to dried salt, and then she's able to sell it for 7 times more. So with this, in 2021, she collaborated with 12 farmers to scale up production. And in 2022, she now has 32 farmers that work with her. Their sales have grown by 300% and they have started selling on e-commerce, specifically Shopee. So this is the kind of work that we do. So we found a gap in the financial institutions where we saw that there is a gap in funding for micro womenpreneurs. So we only work with womenpreneurs, and usually they are the smaller ones. And when we take these women, they are either without a credit history or they are blacklisted by the banks. So our goal is to create bankable womenpreneurs, and this is done by supporting their financial inclusivity into the Malaysia ecosystem. So we have been working with 2 banks, and we're onboarding a 3rd bank, and we work with foundations as well as public donors. So why we are in this, you can see there are 252 million women entrepreneurs worldwide. In Malaysia alone, our target market is 1.2 million. So we have a loan size of about USD 1 billion here. And everything is done through technology. So we have a platform. This platform is given to the donors. So what the donors can see is where their money is at any one time and who it is helping. What we're doing is something that we call perpetual cash. So it's something like walk-off because there is no interest and no admin fee charged to the borrower. If they borrow 1,000, they return back 1,000. So this is where our goal is to help strengthen the business. So especially post-pandemic, how do we help the ladies who are affected to actually grow beyond themselves? So when we do it, we come in with an intensive profiling. This profiling helps us identify who we want to help and how we can help them. So once they have been profiled and we select them, they go to an online academy. So this is where they strengthen their financial and business skills, and we match them with a mentor. So the mentor is an offline event, but we track what's happening online. So then every month they set a goal that they want to meet, and the mentor will look at it and help them stay on track. And then at the last stage, we do the funding and growth. So this is where we track their repayment and we track their business goal. Our goal is to create an alternate credit scoring. So if you are blacklisted by the banks, you can come to Madcash, and Madcash will help you grow your business. So we started with only 650 in April 2020. So now we have USD 20,000, and we have been working with 110 ladies. So we have seen 100% payback. So there's no NPL. And then we've seen an average business growth of 143%. We have a pledge amount coming in, 630,000 coming in, and then we'll be able to help 800 women. And we have another 152 coming in to help the development fund. So we are not a social enterprise, we are for-profit. So we earn money through the fund administration that is charged to the donor, not the borrower. And then we also get funding for development program fee. In the future, we're looking at micro-insurance, we're looking at alternate credit scoring, as well as impact consultancy as part of our revenue. And currently, this is who we are. My name is Aiza. I'm the managing director, and then I've got Dr. Nikolai as my chairman. We've been invested by Scale Up and Quest Ventures, and then we go all around the world and and compete in competition. So this is who we are. And what we do is that we know from our own data that one woman impacts 5 lives. So this is why we are here doing this. And we hope to increase our fund size to $1 million USD. And we're looking for partners in ASEAN countries. And we would like to invite the women who are viewing this to be a mentor on our platform. So thank you very much. That's my presentation for today.
Thank you very much. That's very important tool for today's financial structure, because now financial institutions also considering social responsibility, not just have specific projects, sustainable projects. So for such transparent and also systematic, let's say, donor or let's say social responsibility projects, very critical for all the institutions. That's a very useful product tool for all of us. I mean, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Mr. Syed Omar Almohdzar, who is the founder and CEO of MESINKIRA. He has business and sales consulting experience in many Asian markets, with a focus on the telco, fintech, IT consulting, and energy sectors, as well as being president of the Equestrian Association since 2020. BNM Accelerator program in 2022. This year, he is finalist, who is enthusiastic to help digitize the micro SME sector to increase their net earnings and credit worthiness. He believes in more sustainable banking as the service ecosystem by bridging the gap between banks and underbanks. Yeah. Warmest welcome, Syed Omar. Stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Fatma, for having me here. And of course, thanks to Ruslina for organizing this. She's always been a champion for the industry for us. We are very, very happy that we can actually always try and find a way to reach to new markets and try and open up our ideology and how we can help the ecosystem. So with MESINKIRA, we are very much pushing towards the empowering financial literacy and inclusion for the micro SME segment. We believe that they are a pillar of the economy. They are very much the underserved or the unserved segment in the economy. So just, everyone can see my slide, right? So just to show very briefly, MESINKIRA, I'm going to have 1 or 2 more videos. It's easier to just show everything through a video because there's 5 different softwares that's linked up into one app that we enable the mobile phone to operate, which transform the micro SMEs operation to be more, well, like we say, simple, complete, and effective. Is actually even more powerful than the normal retailers out there, right? So there's a few examples. We're going to show how MESINKIRA can show the inventory software at work, the payment network, and also the dashboard, which is very important, which is why we are doing this. And I'll explain a bit later why that whole 4 components are very important in terms of bringing them closer to the financial institution. just one more. Yeah, this slide. So basically what we are looking at here in this slide, you can see the micro SME, they are in the 78.6% distribution of the economy. You know, so as you can imagine, they are so big in terms of distribution. Their top lines are not big, but I'll explain a bit later why they are so important and how they are actually very scalable, which is why we're actually very much focusing our drive for this segment. And in developing the app, we always want to look at what kind of problem statements we're trying to solve out there, right, in the market. So we are putting everything into 3 prongs: the merchant, micro merchant side, the government side, and of course, financial institution side. So of course, for the merchants, especially micro SME, the biggest thing that they have is the fear of different products, which ones to choose. There's many of them out there in the market, obviously. Second, maybe the biggest one is actually cost, because they are operating on very small margin in the first place. So many solutions that's being offered out there with big devices that have to invest a lot in just having a system installed is actually not feasible for the micro SME. And of course, the biggest thing that they don't realize themselves that we see is the issue of not having any credit rating for themselves, for their business. So there's a big problem for them to get any financial assistance. There's 2 parts of financial assistance. There's one part is to scale. Let's say you're doing very well as a business, but yet you need to have a bit more financial help in terms of scaling further and make your business grow bigger. And they cannot do that with a financial institution because they have no credit history. And the second part is that survival. The second part with it, as a micro business, they might just go through some difficult moments, like for example, with COVID recently. If they go to a bank, they're not able to get any help. So this is why they end up shutting down. So that's one part that's actually very prominently out there in the market. So second part is the government. They want to push financial literacy and digitization. And when it comes to this, micro SME, it's very difficult to have the adoption, right, in the first place. And of course, last but not least, the financial institution, the banks, they have difficulty reaching the micro SME, like I explained earlier. They have micro SME have no credit worthiness, and of course, all these problems out there, we are solving it with MESINKIRA, with one solution solving the merchant side, the government side, and of course, financial institution side, which I'll show a bit later. So in the bigger picture, as you can see, micro SME at the top using MESINKIRA, they are very much having financial literacy. We believe at MESINKIRA, financial inclusion will never happen until you achieve financial literacy. That's the first part. Why we say that, for example, when a micro or any business, you go to a bank, you want to have a lending of 50,000 US, and the bank asks you, why do you need 50,000 US? And they'll usually answer, I don't know. They don't know exactly why they need the funds for. So with MESINKIRA, they know exactly the trends in their business. When they actually go and apply for a loan, they know exactly what to ask and why is it for. So that is the first part we're trying to solve in the first place. And of course, for the financial institution at the bottom, I'll show a bit later. A lot of banks have launched with us because they feel there's no need to reinvent the wheel. This is a solution where they can actually bridge the gap between themselves and the micro SME, and they can give more enriched banking products with the risk management and alternative credit scoring that MESINKIRA will provide in the future. And of course, this will all jive with the government's initiative. So in terms of features, in the video we saw earlier, in MESINKIRA, we combine 5 functionalities: stock management, multi-mode payment, POS and invoicing, bookkeeping, reports and analytics. And each subscription will get this mobile app and the dashboard on the laptop or the tablet. So why are we different to, let's say, another software inventory player or another POS player or even a bookkeeping player? We have integrated all the solutions together. It's not just about ease of use, to make it also more meaningful, you see. So it's no use, like for example, in Malaysia, it's very popular to have a QR code on a cardboard where people just transact day in, day out through a QR code. They have their top line revenue, but when they go to the bank, they always get rejected for a loan because there's no cost structure embedded into their business. So the bookkeeping and the reports analytics part is where it's all automated. The micro merchant does not need to understand how to do basic bookkeeping. It's all done for them. So when you can actually do this end-to-end journey for the merchants, you are able to give a very real story of the business health. And this is how credit scoring works with the alternative credit scoring in our view, in the way we are doing it. So we are empowering them by just using one product and will actually change their lives and their business. This is a new product that's coming up end of this month, inshallah. So we have actually moved into the offline to online and online to offline product. So we have an e-store that's going to be launched end of the month. And this will enable a physical merchant that's selling offline, sell through their WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, or Instagram, just on e-catalog without any extra cost that's crazy that's out there. And the other way around, a merchant that's only selling online, they want to go to a bazaar once a month. Usually what happens in Malaysia is that they have to go to a bank to get a card terminal or QR code. A card terminal, usually for micro merchant, they will always get rejected. That's the real story out there. Banks will never, ever be able to trust a small micro merchant in terms of paying back and of course with the credit risk, right? So with the same phone they're transacting their online business, they can go to the bazaar once a month or twice a month or once a week and run their business through their mobile phone. So we believe that the mobile phone that's in the pocket of every micro merchant can be empowered to do everything for them and uplift their net income. So the one thing that we want to look at in this slide is that the offline transaction and online transaction can be merged with the inventory and sales and the merchant dashboard that we showed earlier. But the one big thing that's very popular with banks in Malaysia, alhamdulillah, is the impact dashboard. So all the analytics that every merchant could see within their business. Banks now, they are doing programs in-house where they can actually drill down for every merchant, their details, transactions, purchase invoice generated, their bookkeeping. It's an opt-in environment where merchants are willing to share the data, and this will enable the banks to give more alternative curated banking products. For example, overdraft facility. Before Eid Ramadan, a merchant sells a lot of their product. It's always sold out within the first week. Banks can see this trend. They say, okay, next Ramadan, I'm going to give you 20,000 US because I know you're good for it. You can pay back in 3 months. So you can offer different banking products on top of the conventional ones that you're offering to the merchants. So this is how banks really like this impact dashboard, and banks, of course, subscribe to this. So far, 2 banks subscribing to this, and we believe this is something that's going to be very popular with most banks in Malaysia. So the embedded finance ecosystem is one thing that MESINKIRA believes that we can be very part of. The solution provider, the data enabling showcase platform, and of course, financial institution will be very much using us. So there's a lot of things that we can do in terms of the banking as a service integration, open banking, and people are talking about. So we are working very closely with banks in the last 6 months, and we are hoping in the next 1 or 2 quarters we'll be coming up with a very concrete product on how this product will actually bridge the gap between the micro SME segment and the banks. It's going to be very exciting times the next 1 or 2 quarters. So in terms of traction, we have total of 1,700 merchants onboarded with 700 plus active, with total of 2 million ringgit plus transacted in the platform. And we are quite happy with this because we barely have any sales team, and we're doing some marketing on the social media. So we are not very aggressively marketing our product. So it's not very, very well known, but yet it's still quite a high traction. So alhamdulillah, it's been a very good journey for us. And this slide is actually very interesting for us to showcase how MESINKIRA can change the landscape of a merchant. For example, merchant A, of course, we have to hide their real identity. At 2021, the whole year, this merchant was transacting 169,000 ringgit in total. Majority is in cash, 0 in e-wallet, and 15 ringgit in card sales. So if you look at the year after 2022, that's the data of August this year, not even end of this, not even December. So it's gone up almost 3x. And with the card payments gone up to 11,000 for 15 ringgit. So you can see by understanding your business better, you're able to make necessary adjustments that's actually more meaningful in terms of lowering your costs, understanding which product sells better, so on and so forth. So it's not all about having a product, having a software that just automates your business, but it's also a software that's actually helping you to scale better. Yeah. So this merchant B is an even staggering improvement. To the whole of 2021, the merchant was only doing 8,000 ringgit in sales, and you can see the 2022 August, it was doing 63,000. It's like a huge multiple, and same thing as well, you know, and the 0 e-wallet now doing a lot of e-wallet sales and a lot of card transactions through their phone as well. So this is one of the 2 of the many examples that we see out there in our merchant side. So in terms of go-to-market strategy, we are very much working close with the bank, with the government agencies on one, partnership with telcos and financial institutions, with the banks as well. And of course, internally, we just do social media advertising. So one of the last ones, the ESG aspiration for MESINKIRA, we are touching a few parts of the ESG. On the environmental one, of course, we are not using any hardware, no more extra devices. Phone in the pocket is enough. So we have, we believe we are reducing the wastage of electronic goods. Social side's obvious. We are empowering the B40 and micro SME segment. And of course, governance is a given when we are very much aligned with the Bank Negara, Central Bank of Malaysia's blueprint. And of course, we want to also push financial literacy and proper way of conducting business. So that's my presentation for today. Thank you very much.
Syed Omar, thank you very much for this presentation. Our intention for this occasion is to create a bridge between Malaysia and Türkiye for fintech interaction. And considering the needs of the Turkish ecosystem, all the financial tools which you until now present is very crucial, because when we look at the dynamics of two countries, they look like each other. I mean, especially the banks, institutions try to tap some unbanked community, but they need some tools, capacity to reach those population. Especially financial literacy is very important. If they cannot handle or put specific concern on this financial literacy, they cannot reach those customers. And within OIC countries also, when I discuss with the related institutions, financial literacy is one of the area which now actively concentrate and projected. So as today's intention to introduce this already studied and also well-performed capacity, I would like to introduce those member institutions of MDEC to Turkey, but globally to benefit from this already well set up capacity for their needs and also for their development, let's say, projects within their own country. Some of them may be a part of their national strategy, or some of them for their private sectors strategic, let's say, areas. So now I would like to introduce our audience, Mr. Nizam Mustapha Kamal. Welcome, Mr. Nizam. He's founder and CEO of Pewarisan, which is our last presentation from MDEC member. Mr. Nizam has more than 35 years of experience in top management and software development. He was CEO of the largest outsourcing company for employees' medical benefits management. He started the development of the Islamic inheritance system in October 2018 and set up Pewarisan in October 2020. I'm really very, curious and excited to learn about this Islamic inheritance system to introduce our audience. Floor is yours, Mr. Nizam.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Okay, my name is Nizam. Let me set up the... All right, okay. Baharin is basically an online intelligence planning. Okay, first I want to introduce myself. My name is Nizam. At 60 years old.
Sorry, Mr. Nizam. I'm so sorry. Your voice is not very clear. Can you come close to the microphone or any?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, is it clear now?
Yeah, it's better. It's better. Thank you.
Okay, so at 60 years old, I don't think I'm the typical profile of a normal fintech founder. Okay, so this is how I get started. I received my tertiary education from 3 countries, USA, Canada, and Japan. And I started my business journey at the age of 30. And to solve the billing problems faced by healthcare providers, we developed online medical billing and eventually set up the outsourcing company. And at the age of 54, after my heart bypass surgery, I took a break from business. But during that time, I realized that the need for inheritance planning. And I started looking for it, and turned out that, well, there's a lot of problems. It's not as easy as I would like it to be. And so at the age of 58, I started Pewarisan to solve this actual problem. So these are the takeaways that we can take from my own experience. Basically, you are never too old to start any project, and you always look at new opportunities, and you always look at problems as an opportunity for you to develop new solutions. Okay. Pewarisan is a Malaysian-based fintech company. We started in 2020, and we developed Islamic inheritance system in Malaysia and Nigeria, and we won a few hackathons and incubator programs in Qatar and also Vietnam. And so far, we have secured funding from 2 venture capital companies and signed investment agreement with Qatar Development Bank. And right now, we are planning to expand our existing market in Malaysia and Nigeria and explore international markets such as Qatar and Türkiye. Okay. Our mission is to make Islamic inheritance planning easy and affordable. So for Malaysia, we already have Pewarisan.com as a platform where we are linking the players, the funeral management company, the lawyers, the insurance agencies, and so on. And in Nigeria, we developed Islamic inheritance planning in collaboration with UTL. They are the biggest trustee company, and we provide the necessary API for the system. So our system can be done where, for example, in Türkiye, we have a partner that want to develop the system, and we can provide the API, then you can offer the services to Türkiye. Okay. And in Qatar, we are already working in collaboration with Qatar Fintech Hub to explore the market in the region. We already signed up investment agreement with Qatar Development Bank. And for Türkiye, we are hoping to we are looking for strategic partners to explore the market here. Okay, basically the overview of the system is we want to educate and simplify the process by easy onboarding with our virtual assistant. So visitors to our website will be able to come in and do their price calculation and start with the planning. And then they can join as a member and use all the tools for free. And once they are ready, they can subscribe to the service and they can prepare the document. And together with that, what we hope is once you get started, you will start your whole planning. It encompasses not only on your legacy planning, but also your financial planning, your funeral services, and so on. You have to start thinking. Because what I wanted was, I do not want people to be like me at the age of 58, only realize I need to do the financial planning. So here we encourage people, young people, to actually get started and see what needs to be done. Okay, and so after death of testator, the beneficiary can start the asset distribution process via our panel lawyers and so on. Okay, our marketing strategies, we have our affiliate program where every member will have their own page and which they can share with their friends and family. And every member, once they share, and then hopefully the members will also start joining in. And so far it's quite effective in getting new members. So we also offer effective incentive for our affiliates, and 60% of our web traffic comes from platform. Okay, building community. I think most technopreneurs face the same problem. We want to have the community. We want to get traction from on our products. But it's a chicken and egg kind of thing. We need to build up the community. Then we need to market and so on. And this is something new. I think is aside from what we are doing now, where we want to create a community of technopreneurs that we can share and offer all our innovative solutions on one platform. So, well, I would like to introduce Madcat Network, where this is something that I started 2 weeks ago as an MVP for a hackathon. And basically, it's a MOS-based community offering collaboration tools and information for members. And we can offer various online solutions by third-party social providers and directly for local business. So here is in line with what we are actually doing. We are doing legacy planning. So the MOS is the central for, when people on death, they will be the one that we will go. But at the same time, while it solves our problem to create the community, we can also offer to other technopreneurs. It can be a wakaf solution, it can be a financial solution, it can be a payment gateway, and so on. So this is a main page where we can offer all the tools, something like what all the Muslim apps have, the Quran, Hadith, prayer time, and so on. And we have the community of all the mosques and also directory of businesses. So for example, here we can have the users can come in and know the management, the contact us, location, and so on, and tools for the community, where they can join the community, each mosque, and they can connect to all the community, and they can have a discussion forum, and we can also pull in information, because one of the problem on the community-based solution is the content are not updated. So people, for the mosque, they have to update themselves. But then most people already have their Facebook, their YouTube. Why don't we just pull in all the information and make it the content very relevant? Okay, so we can also these are the main things that what we want. We can incorporate these solution from party. For example, when I have this community here in Malaysia, I can offer my legacy planning, the estate management, financial planning, and so on, and they can do the announcement. Okay, so let me just quickly show. Okay, so this is how it is, and then once you can go to the committee, and then you can have, let's say, who are the chairman, the community members of the mosque, and then they can have the contacts, the location, and hierarchy. We tell what are the things that you need to do on the hierarchy, infaq, wakaf, funeral, and so on. And we have the committee here, and then we can put in information from various social media. And this is where here, I just want to showcase what we can do as a group of entrepreneurs. We can say, okay, look, I'm sure there are a lot of innovative solutions on financial, and we can have it here, where we already have a community of people who are already using it. So every mosque will have their own community. In Turkey, there are about 32,000 mosques in Turkey itself, and 3,000 is in Istanbul. So imagine, each community have about 500 members. So the numbers of people, and then we are trying to get them to our platform, and also offering services, where we can also have a directory of all the visitors, events, and marketplace. So this is something I just want to trigger, and I think just to introduce something that hopefully can trigger. We can work together with founders in Malaysia, in Türkiye, and we can set up something. So what we need to do is maybe work with the religious agencies in Türkiye, and we get all the listing of community, and together we build up every mosque to have at least 500 members, and we can offer all our solutions. So that will be the what we hope for. Okay, so basically that's the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nizam, for your sharings. Definitely, we will also relay this solution and this network advices to related institutions in Turkey, like Diyanet. Thank you very much. And now I would like to have Mr. Wilson Bah, who is the president of Fintech Association of Malaysia and also co-founder of PolicyStreet. Prior to venturing to entrepreneurship, Mr. Wilson worked in a leading investment bank advising Chinese and Asian conglomerates in multi-billion-dollar financing and cross-border transaction. As a believer of technology and an advocate of financial inclusion, he left his banking career to start PolicyStreet, a fintech company that makes insurance protection simple, easy, and affordable with technology. And Mr. Wilson contributes to fintech ecosystem as a founding member and president of the Fintech Association of Malaysia, which is a national fintech platform. So, Mr. Wilson, warmest welcome.
Thank you, Fatma, and good morning and good afternoon.
Thank you. So we introduced the member institutions, fintech solutions from Malaysia. Now, maybe the audience quite interested about fintech association perspective. We are wondering what is in store for 2023. I mean, just the coming year, 1 month later, and the coming year, what we'll expect from Malaysian fintech ecosystem. what do you see the opportunities and challenges? And plus, of course, we are also wondering, leveraging this capacity in Malaysia in terms of digital and fintech ecosystem interactions, what would be the opportunities between Malaysia and Turkey? Floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks again, Fatma, and thank you for the earlier presentations by the fellow Malaysian entrepreneurs. And thank you to MDEC, especially to Rosalina and team for the invitation. It is my privilege to be here. And also a great shout out to our friends in Turkey who are listening in. I am a big fan of Turkey. In fact, my own honeymoon a few years back was spent in Turkey. My wife and I went to Cappadocia, went to Istanbul, went to a couple of places in Turkey. You know, we are big fans of the melting pot connecting the East and the West in Turkey. And I believe this is also the ingredient of great innovation because financial services are recording and also undergoing a fast transformation. Same goes to in the market in Malaysia. 2023 will be a very interesting year for the fintech landscape in Malaysia. 2023, in the perspective of the Fintech Association of Malaysia, we are expecting more growth in the entire fintech landscape on a few items and also a few matters. Number one, with the launch of the Financial Sector Blueprint 2022 to 2026 by the Central Bank of Malaysia, with great emphasis in digitalization, we are expecting to see more fintech innovation being implemented and also encouraged in the Malaysian market in 2023. It is also the year where the 5 digital banks in which the 5 licenses were given earlier this year will go into full operation expected in 2023. And out of the 5 digital banks, 2 of them are Islamic digital banks. So the Central Bank of Malaysia make distinctive differences for the licenses given. So 3 are conventional digital banks and another 2 are Islamic digital banks. And these 5 digital banks are expected to go into full force in 2023 or latest early 2024. So this will be something exciting because these 5 digital banks will act as great catalysts for more fintech revolutions and innovation to take place in the entire ecosystem. After all, the digital banks are the bridge connecting the old and the new economy. And of course, in the capital market perspective, which is regulated by Securities Commission of Malaysia, last month itself, there was also an announcement made by the Securities Commission of Malaysia to look into the possibility to issue more licenses for peer-to-peer platform players, for equity crowdfunding players in the realm of Islamic finance. So today, they are already more than 10 peer-to-peer lending platform and also equity crowdfunding platform licensed by the Securities of Malaysia, facilitating more than $100 million US worth of financing and equity injection. However, the regulator is taking the step to encourage more participation, especially entrepreneurs who are thinking to inject the Islamic principle into P2P and also the ECF platform. So this is something which will be unfolded in year 2023, positioning Malaysia as a leading Islamic fintech market in the region, also globally. And another perspective, which is also very interesting, would be the finalization of the licensing framework for DITO, which stands for Digital Insurer and Takaful Operator licensing framework, to be finalized by the Central Bank of Malaysia. As most of you would know, insurance industry is even more traditional compared to banking industry. It is one of the oldest industries in the world, tracing back to many centuries before. And the Central Bank of Malaysia has given the commitment to finalize the digital insurance and also Takaful operators framework by end of next year. And what does this mean? This means that we will be expecting to see up to 5 digital insurers licenses to be given the operating licenses by the central bank, akin to the 5 digital banks. And what is interesting in Malaysian market is that there's also a clear distinction between conventional insurance companies and also the Islamic insurance companies, which are called the Takaful operators, with different concepts. And in the digital insurance licenses to be given, there is also a statement in the exposure draft that Islamic digital insurance licenses will be considered as well. So I believe these 3 developments will anchor the exciting developments in the Malaysia fintech landscape in year 2023, with more implementations coming from the Malaysia Bank Negara framework 2022 to 2026, more encouragement for more Islamic peer-to-peer and equity crowdfunding platforms licenses to be dished out, and of course the implementation of digital banks, and also the ruling out of digital insurance and Takaful insurance licenses in the Malaysian market as a whole. So this is where the Fintech Association is very excited. We have just signed a regional MOU with our respective counterparts in ASEAN, from the Philippines to Singapore to Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, where we form a united front to welcome more FDIs and also investment from different fintech companies to the Malaysian shore. And definitely, together with MDEC, we would love to invite more businesses, especially fintech players, to set up shops in Malaysia.
Wilson, thank you very much. I mean, it looks that coming year will be a market development year. I mean, like new regulation, extension of current legislations, new market players. So it's a quite excited year. I mean, expecting us. I mean, so especially for fintechs perspective. So which fintechs will be like the shops for the banks to take their solutions and deliver channel to their customers. So that's quite really very important sharings for all of us. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. As before our next session, that's a great wrap up also for us, Wilson, about the fintech ecosystem in Malaysia. So before closing the panel, I mean, with the experience and successful stories of MDEC members and fintech companies, from our audience, any institution would like to give a very quick, let's say, introduction about themselves or their institutions, because today is we are completely concentrate on Malaysia. Any institution would like to welcome and introduce themselves, most welcome. Within 5 minutes, we should close the session. By the way, we have 5 minutes for. Okay, no? Okay, Ruslana, would you like to also share anything else before closing the session?
Yeah, I think to manage everybody's expectation, I think it would be great to hear from all our 4 founders, your wish list, and see how the opportunities that we can connect with the Turkey community. And then hopefully from there, the organizers can then reach out in terms of your wish list to the respective communities that they serve. We'll probably start with, let's start with the gentleman, because the ladies first was earlier. So we'll start with Nizam and go backwards.
Okay, basically, we hope to collaborate and establish our presence there. And maybe the first step is to, since we are in the Islamic indirect expanding, so we'd like to connect to the religious authority. That would be very good to get started, because we need to know what are the problems and issues related to the indirect expanding.
Sorry, Fatma, did you hear that?
Yeah, I hear that, but I would like to remind that as at the Startup Investment Summit in 4 startups organizations, main intention is to interact fintech to fintech, peer-to-peer institutions. So in local market, in local ecosystem, our organizers will actively inform our all ecosystem members for the availability and also capacity of all the institutions, your funders and members. So I'm sure they will have some demands for some pitching meetings. Myself would like to also channel some meetings, B2B meetings for the institutions who would be interested to contact directly with them. I mean, so this is the main intention of this panel, to introduce local ecosystem about your availability and capacity. So Mr. Nizam, for this inheritance system is would be very interested also for Turkish institutions. I got the message. And any others for if you wish to address or nominate specific channels to interact with each other from our funders and directors, most welcome. From Aiza or from Nadia or from Syed Omar.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe from me, I would like to meet up. If you have women entrepreneur associations, I would like to meet the women and then see how we can collaborate and maybe implement what we do in Malaysia in Turkey. And I will also like to learn from people who do microfunding in Turkey, and then maybe we can share experiences and see how we can work together. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Aiza. Omar?
I think Fatma mentioned earlier appropriately, Turkey and also Malaysia, the landscape is very similar. Actually, the distribution of micro SME is massive. I've been to Turkey many times, and you see all these small merchants everywhere around the street and small stores. So the ecosystem is actually very, very fitting for an outfit like MESINKIRA. And of course, we would like to see how we can collaborate in the future together.
Thank you. Nadia?
I think we had the privilege to meet the team at Kuwait Turk and the portfolio management entity earlier this year. I think we had a lot of exchange of ideas on how POD can enable some of this access and inclusion agenda, but happy to extend a greater conversation with fellow FIs and even fintech players within the market or gig economy platforms to see how we can work together, because fintech companies, we're fighting so many fires at the same time. We can work together collaboratively to enter a new market. I think that would be the better way to service the segment.
Okay, excellent. Over to you again, Fatma.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to host your good friends and colleagues and Malaysian fintech ecosystem at the kickoff session of Startup Investment Program of Türkiye. So wish all of us a very fruitful, let's say, feedbacks. And we will definitely relay the feedbacks to your good start. And also we will connect your good institutions to the relevant institutions in Türkiye. It depends on the interest for the specific fintech institution. Thank you very much for your time, for your kindness, for your sharings, and wish to see each other at the next panel at 11:30.
Yeah. Fatma, just a quick one. If I could just give a shout out in terms of what our collaborations with the organizers, apart from TKBB, also with Info Startups also, is to see how we could, stretch these conversations into a roadmap for 2023. So, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There will be many more proactive engagements between the communities in Turkey as well as in Malaysia, not just in fintech. We're going to touch on social finance. We're going to touch on healthcare, as well as agri-tech. So anything that's got to do with tech. So please, continue to support the organizers today, as well as the communities from MDEC who are open to engage with all the participants here today for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all. Wish to see each other at the next panel at 11:30.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.